Hey y'all, so today I am in Emmitsburg, Maryland. I am here for the annual March for Life. It's the day before the march, and I thought what better place to go the day before than a little bit up north in Emmitsburg, Maryland, to the shrine of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. This is where St. Elizabeth Ann Seton is buried. This is where she started her religious order, the Sisters of Charity. So I'm here with my family, my girls, my wife. We're gonna go visit the basilica here. There's also a beautiful cemetery, and then there's two famous houses, the Stone House as it's fondly called, also the White House, not that White House, but the White House here on the grounds. So let's go check it out. So one of the main reasons why we came here is for, well, actually there's more than one main reason. There's a few reasons. First is the church that I grew up at is St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. So she has always held a near and dear place to my heart. So it's really nice to come and visit her basilica and to pray at her remains. Second is because, well, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton is the first American-born saint, canonized saint in the United States. The next reason why is because my youngest daughter, her name is Elizabeth, and it's in honor of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. And then finally, I've never been able to go inside the Basilica Shrine all these years that I've come up here. I've seen the outside very briefly a long time ago, but never got to go inside and pray and visit. So I'm really excited. Apparently there's a gift shop, there's obviously the Basilica, and I think a museum as well. So yeah. All right, well, we got actually lucky because right now, since it's the March for Life, I guess they open these two houses I was talking about, the White House and the Stone House, and they give some tours. It's gonna close in like 45 minutes, so we're actually gonna head there first, and then we're gonna head back to the Basilica. So if you're ever here for the March for Life, if you can swing up here, take your bus or take your vehicles, drive up here. It's about an hour, a little over an hour from the DC area. It's also like 8 miles south of Gettysburg, so regardless of whenever you decide to take a pilgrimage here, I would also highly suggest going to Gettysburg, one of the most famous Civil War battlefields there is. And my daughters are acting crazy because they're finally out of a car for an hour of driving, so they're excited. So anyways, yeah, Battle of Gettysburg is about 8 miles north of here in Pennsylvania. You have Frederick, you have, you know, everything pretty close by here in Maryland. I would highly suggest going, but like I said, we're gonna head over to the Stone House and then over to the White House. So we just had a quick tour of the stone house, which was sort of the original house in the early 1800s that St. Elizabeth Ann Seton slept in. Her 3 daughters also slept there, lived there. But the coolest story that they told us was, this was, it was kind of added on, but this house, the stone house, was actually had to be moved a quarter of a mile to where it is today because they had apparently sold some of the land, and if they had kept it where it was going to be owned by the government, and the sisters and the people didn't want that to happen, so they had a benefactor that paid to raise the house and move it a quarter of a mile down to where it is. And the guy received an award apparently for that undertaking because, the house was built in like 1780 or something like that, and to be able to keep it restored and everything else is a monument of a feat. So now we're gonna head over to the White House. So we just got done taking a tour of the White House, which was the first school used by St. Elizabeth Ann Seton and her sisters. It's also the first all-girls school in the United States that was built just for girls. And they would do different retreats and stuff, and as you saw, there's a beautiful chapel where St. Elizabeth Ann Seton knelt and prayed and lived. And you can still, if you bring a priest or a group, you can celebrate Mass in there at that chapel, which is really cool. So right down here is the cemetery, St. Joseph Cemetery, where St. Elizabeth Ann Seton was first buried along with many of her family members and the other sisters from the religious order until she was moved to the Basilica, which we'll go to next. So here lies the chapel that, if I heard it correctly, is St. Elizabeth Ann Seton's son had built for her after her death. This oak tree right here, and then that light post, and then that tombstone was where she was originally buried, and she called this kind of God's acre. And as you can see, there's lots of tombstones of all the sisters, religious. There's also an archbishop that's buried here. It's a beautiful, tranquil place to pray, do the Stations of the Cross, and just have a time to pay our respects to what an amazing woman she was for the Church and for the United States.
What do you think? You liked it?
I think she liked it. So that was the Basilica of St. Elizabeth Ann Seton. Beautiful place. Highly recommend coming here if you're looking for a pilgrimage in the Maryland area. It's not too, like I said, it's not too far from any of the major East Coast cities, and definitely you can spend a whole day out here in prayer and visiting the places. Well, we're gonna go to next, which is like right down the street. So if you have, more time and you want to go visit another place, is Mount St. Mary's. It's a Catholic university, but there's also one of the oldest, if not the oldest, Marian Grotto, Our Lady of Lourdes shrine in the country, maybe even the world. I'll talk more about that in the next video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless.
What do you think? Subscribe for this little one.